you know.
For sure. So you were also in the military. You were in the Army. How long were you in the Army for?
I did 6 years in the Army.
6 years in the Army. Awesome. So I call it a super Army brat. So mom, dad, stepdad,
Wow.
all did 20
Oh,
in
wow.
the Army.
Wow.
So at times it felt like I was in.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
But it was when I talked to people who weren't in the military, it was a whole different dynamic.
Yeah.
It was like when you're around that environment, it's like every guy I met that came to our house was like G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Little kids, you see this big dude, 6 foot, bald head, boom. I was like, it's like a damn G.I. Joe doll, man.
Yeah.
It's like I actually went to go in, but that didn't end up happening. But that it creates a different mindset in most people that you think about things a different way. You're more the discipline is on a whole another level with a lot of these guys. How did being in the military kind of shape your world with that? Do you think it made you look at things in a different way than the majority of men?
It did. Well, I won't say different than the majority of men. What the military did for me was fill that gap between 13 years old and 21 years old. Because even though like my mom dated and she dated a very good man, the fact that he wasn't my father, I couldn't really learn from him. So I just went through my teens really just trying to wing it.
Gotcha.
And really me picking up masculinity, to be honest, was from the dope boys. I'm like that has to be what masculinity is.
Which a lot of guys do.
Yeah, that's common.
When they don't have that at home, the first guys they see that are going to show them any love, a lot of times it's the dudes on the block.
Yeah.
It's like they're going to be the ones like, come on, man, let me show you how to move. It's like, clean your shoes off. Like, get your hair right. It's like, what you doing?
Yeah.
Wash your face.
Exactly. So when I joined the military, it was a breath of fresh air, man, because now I was in the room with a lot of guys that were living a straight way, but a lot of them were raised by their fathers, and it was a culture shock to me.
Yeah.
And I'm looking and I'm understanding what's real weird, man, is where I understood how to start being a man.
Yeah.
Was from a brother, man, who was younger than me. A brother named John Lamax. He's passed away now. I served with him. He was my sergeant. He was younger than me. And I didn't understand what was taking place at the time, but I would get up on the weekends, man, go over to John's house. We were working on cars, and just to watch John, I was married, just to watch John interact with his wife, his kids, the way he worked around the house, was foreign to me. And then to be serving with other brothers that were raised by their fathers, I just started to pick up those things that I didn't even know were not there, man.
Right.
So the military raised me. The military filled that gap between 13 and 21.
Oh yeah, because a lot of guys go in at 18, and so with that being said, would you suggest the military for like a younger guy looking for some of those pieces? Because you're a lot of guys say that if you don't have that, guys get in trouble all the time, and or it used to be this way. I don't know if they still do it, where you would if you got dragged in front of court, you had enough trouble. They were like, hey, you either go to military, or you go to jail.
Yeah.
It's like, you're almost 18. It's like you're either when you turn 18, you're either going to military or you're going to jail. And a lot of guys went in the military because of that, because they got so much trouble in these streets because of stuff that was going on at home, not having dad, or dad wasn't representing and showing them the way, or even dad was out there in the streets like that, to the point where they got in so much trouble that eventually it was like, hey, army, jail. And a lot of guys go into the army and they say that actually really like saved them.
Yeah.
In that instance.
I would say I'm not saying I would really recommend the military. I love the military, but I would say if a young man doesn't have someone to reach out to that's living, what we have to understand is that like a lot of men like us right now, if a younger man came to us that was 16, 18, 21, 23 and said, hey man, you know what, like I didn't have this type of person in my life, I need some guidance, we would bring him up under our shoulder. But when we were 18, we didn't know that. Right. We were like, well, if Pops is not here, then I gotta figure it out on my own. I would say if a young man doesn't have a neighbor or an uncle or power circle to be associated with, the military is definitely a way to go. Because you're gonna pick up those things with no effort at all. You're gonna pick up that masculine, Oh
yeah, and I think having even channels like this or your channel is like, because I didn't have there wasn't YouTube when I was growing up.
Exactly.
So I'm in that. I mean, we're both in that in between age where it's like we remember before the internet, but we grew up having access to it. But when I was a teenager, I didn't have YouTube. I didn't have podcasts to listen to about masculinity or anything like that. It was just like you're winging it, bro.
Yeah.
Like you say I'm just going.
Yeah. but the thing is that because just sitting there talking about it, it's like, man, young brothers have an advantage because if they need that masculinity, YouTube is right there. So it seems convenient. But at the same time, both entities are on YouTube.
You know
what I'm saying? So they can get on, they get on YouTube and
get into that darkness of the black pill.
Just as
get
easy.
hard into that red pill. We talk about that you know that, or just go the opposite complete way. It's like, oh, this is how you be a man. You you cater to everybody else, but you don't worry about yourself. Or you're supposed to be you're supposed to feel and show your feelings all the time and be not be controlled with and not be stoic. Not you're supposed to feel. That's the most important thing is how you feel,
and not magnified.
Exactly. So there's those two. Like you said, those two entities.
Yeah.
It's like